Maybe it's my own fault. Maybe I led you to believe my highlights started on the podium and not in practice.
The legend Rosenberg is a 4-time champion of the world.
Maybe I made you think that every race I did, I won.
2 litres in the tank for legend Rosenberg, rounding for the final corner. Does the greatest to ever do it, but if he doesn't, Scots and David steals it at the yard of bricks.
Maybe it's my fault that you think I'm unbeatable. Maybe I led you to believe that championships were given to me and not something I worked for every single day. Maybe I destroyed the league, or maybe you're just making excuses. Maybe you can beat me. Come and try.
Gentlemen, welcome back to Formula Virtual Racing. We are here for the Australian Grand Prix here at the Land Down Under, and what an evening it should be here tonight. We have a small enough grid, but a very good grid at that as well. So it should be a fabulous bit of racing. Coming into tonight, it's very close in the championship, and the second half of the season is getting underway. My name's Evan Dalton. It's a pleasure as always to have you alongside me to bring you tonight's action, which sees us return to Albert Park. Last time we were here, of course, was a very dramatic season opener. Bit of a different ball game here at the circuit that began hosting the Australian Grand Prix in 1996. Qualifying just getting underway now. Legend Rosenberg already on his first lap, and he comes into tonight once again not having led a single race or not having led for a single race in the championship, which is very interesting when you think of how dominant he's been over his FVR career. But he is looking to do it tonight, and as you can see on the right hand side of your screen, it is still Tyler Davison who is at the top of the championship order, but only by 5 points over Rosenberg and then 6 over Marriott. And Vestico Badi only 5 points behind as well. But no Tyler again tonight, so that lead we can assume will change. And it's looking like it's going to be Rosenberg versus Gobadi for the driver's title, but that's a mistake for Legend Rosenberg on his qualifying run, just as we jump on board with him. So that is an early error for Legend, as Dylan McClements will set the time. The early time with a 16.4. Here's Legend Rosenberg across the start-finish line. 16 flat for him. The other Ferrari of Sam Fate running through the final corner. Of course, very close to an Italian Grand Prix win with Sam Fate. It's third spot for him. Luke Davies invalidated his time, so there'll be no time on the board for Luke Davies. This opens it up nicely for Vestico Badi, who with a clean lap should realistically be able to go under the 16 flat mark into the 15s, because we saw a mistake for Legend Rosenberg. Sam Williams goes to 40. Avin Panguru, not a representative time on the board for the time being, 9 seconds off. But here is Gobadi down towards the Ascari right-hander, now turn number 11, formerly turn number 13 of course, but the newly adjusted Albert Park circuit has made it turn number 11. As Gobadi slides it in towards the corner where Legend made the mistake. So a couple of drivers having a few errors here, but here is Vestico Badi, flicks it round the outside and across the start-finish line. What is this going to be on the timing screens? It's going to be a 15.8, so he does go quicker. It is a quicker lap for Vestico Badi. What can Adrian Tishy do? Will he be able to break into the top 5? No, not quite. And that is only going to be 8th place. But again, don't think it's quite a representative time for Adrian Tishy. Here's Luke Davies in towards the almost flat-out right-hand. A bit of a lift on the way in, I think these drivers will do, or certainly they'll be aiming not to do it. They'll want to try keep it as flat as possible. Callum Birch does manage to go to the third. Callum making his FVR debut here in the F1 tier anyway, so he goes to third, replacing Niels Hartl. Luke will be delighted with that, because it gives McLaren something to work with in terms of the Constructors' Championship, which we will talk about in a moment. But we'll keep an eye on Luke as he's rounding in towards the final couple of corners. Luke would love to take his first win of the season here, coming up towards his 100th FVR Grand Prix, which will be next time out. He'd love to take a win this season. Even if he's not in the Championship Challenge, he would still love to stand on the top of the rostrum. Davies across the start-finish line. It's only 5th spot for Luke Davies, so not an ideal lap for him, but remember, he would have used a lot of that tyre up on his first run, so he will have to go again for the time being. Kant Ulger going to be next on a run, as is Julius Gassner just behind, and we haven't seen the time yet from Matthew Stotts either. Stotts just heading down towards turn number 3. We briefly mentioned the Constructors' standings, of course. It is Alpine that is top of them by 6 points. Luke Davies' McLaren team down in 7th. So not really where Luke has had them in the last couple of seasons, but Luke obviously missing a few races here and there for plenty of reasons. That has cost McLaren quite a bit. Niels Hartl did well in Brazil to pick up some good points, and then Luke of course had a disastrous Monaco Grand Prix, not what he was hoping for at all. Matthew Stotts flicks it over the high speed chicane. Thought that was almost a guaranteed invalidation from Matthew Stotts, but it wasn't. A very nice line indeed. Little bit heavy on the brakes in towards the almost 90-degree right-hander, but still safely through there. A little bit wide for the corner where we saw Legend Rosenberg make the mistake, but all in all, this is not too shabby a run from Matthew Stotts, who is very quick on this F1 24 game, and he is now a main driver for this Haas outfit. So this is a Haas debut for Stotts, who goes to third. He is, of course, replacing Tim Wenting in the Haas, and then Thomas Main is replacing Daniel Holland in the Aston Martin, but no Thomas again here tonight. Kandolger jumps up to 9th spot. Here's Julius Gassner across the line. That's going to be 11th for Gassner. So still an improvement coming in the next couple of laps, hopefully, for Julius, and he's able to jump up the order a tad. Rosenberg back out on track and getting ready to start his next lap. Let's ride on board with Legend then and take a trip round the 5.278 kilometre circuit. Brabham of turn number 1, and then in towards turn number 2 of Jones, named after, of course, Jack Brabham and Alan Jones, the two famous Aussie racers. Then it's down the DRS straight in towards turn number 3 and 4. A little bit wide on the entry for Legend, but you want to try hit that curb as much as possible. Avoid the curb on the inside there as well here. You don't want to touch that one. Give this right-hander sort of a wide berth. That's Whitefoot, and you're here onto the Albert Road. Then it's turn number 7. Flick the car in through here, and about 6th gear. Legend, I believe, has backed off this lap. He has. He's actually invalidated it, so no time going to be put on the board here by Legend Rosenberg, who, is it too early to say, is struggling a little bit? Struggling a little bit in qualifying here? I know he's only a little bit off, but might be struggling a tad, because not the first mistake we've seen from Legend so far this evening. Dulger and Gassner will head their ways into the pit lane. Adrian Tishy, I do believe, is on a timed run. Oh, he's actually been impeded. He has been impeded by a wandering Julius Gassner on the apex, so that's not done Adrian any favours, and Adrian will come straight into the pit lane. Julius might pick up a penalty from that one, actually. Here's the German of Yafan Panguru, who's made a mistake on his lap so far today, so that's not a representative time. He is not, in fact, outside of the 107% rule just yet. Oh, invalidates in the exit, and that's very harsh indeed. Didn't go over by much, but went over, and it's very black and white in towards that corner. The curb, a clear indication of where you got to keep your at least 2 wheels. Keep at least 2 wheels on the tarmac for a valid lap, and Panguru will go again though down towards the first corner, as I presume Legend Rosenberg is. He'll get his first sector split now just as he exits Whiteford, and he's actually down on his time, but it was a good first sector for Legend. It was the 3rd sector that he had the problems on his first lap, so matching, pretty much matching his personal best in towards the first 5 corners of this tricky Albert Park circuit. The two McLarens together out on track, one just letting the other through. That's Callum Birch and Luke Davies, both on outlaps, I believe. Or Callum Birch is on a timed lap, but certainly one of them is not going quickly. Very quick through the chicane for Legend Rosenberg. This is where he'll make up the time though, in towards this 3rd sector. Runs a little bit hot in towards that corner, but it's the same line Matthew Stotts was taking, so I think it could be the way that corner is working for these drivers tonight. Then it's in towards the hairpin. Here is Legend Rosenberg rounding through the final corner, much better than his previous best, so I think this is going to go quickest for the 4-time world champion. Across the line it does go quickest, but it's not by an awful lot. Keep an eye on Avestigo Badi here, definitely has a hand in the fire and definitely has a foot in the fight tonight. Luke Davies is on his timed run, so you got to keep an eye on Davies as well. Very nice through the chicane for Gobadi, improving by 0.4 of a second, so this one mightn't be a given for Legend Rosenberg, and Avestigo Badi maybe is starting to mount a title fight, certainly mounting one with this qualifying attempt. We will say, or will we say something else after the race tonight? That's all going to be found out over the next hour and a half. But here's Avestigo Badi rounding through the final corner now. The Ukrainian up towards the start-finish line. Is he able to beat that 15.8? Oh, well, is he able to beat it? Is he what? 1:15.4 for Avestigo Badi. That's a monstrous time indeed. What's Luke Davies able to do? He was a 1/10 of a second up heading through the chicane. 3rd sector though, there's been a couple of mistakes from drivers, so if Luke gets this right, he might be able to propel himself up the order just a little bit. Let's see what he does towards the start finish. Oh, it's only 5th for Luke, slower than Callum Birch, so that's a little bit of a thought put in the back of Luke Davies' mind here. He's 0.8 of a second off of Vesta and about 5 off Legend, which it will hurt him, but Luke probably knows that the race is where he can do well tonight. Dylan McClements goes to 3rd for the Sauber team. Excellent lap by Dylan. 0.5 of a second off of Vesta and Legend, but that's still a crack in that lap nonetheless, and he's put himself in good contention here on the 2nd row. Matthew Stott's not currently on a timed run, but will be going on to one now. He is actually on a timed run, but he has made a mistake. So Matthew Stotts will be looking to improve further upon his personal best. So let's ride on board with him down towards turn number 1. Valid, unfortunately, for Stotts, so there'll be no improvements there from him. Candogar is currently on a run as well, I believe, down towards the right-hander. And in towards the first of 2 final hairpins, and into the wall goes the Turkishman. There's a front wing chipped, and Candogar not able to improve upon this lap, but not able to keep it out of the wall and keep it on the asphalt. Very disappointing there for Can. Not able to get across the start-finish line and have the approximately 400,000 fans in attendance at Albert Park cheer him on, and that is the record attendance actually in Albert Park from the 2022 Australian Grand Prix, which was the first one after the COVID-affected Formula 1 years. There's probably not 400,000 at an FVR race, but still a fine attendance watching the live stream at home, which is great to see. Matthew Stotts, we saw him invalidate his time. He's going to go again. So this is the Tyler Pastilli qualifying run program. If you don't know what that is, Tyler Pastilli basically goes out and does a load of laps for the entire session, and it never really works, but he does it every week anyways. So that's what Matthew Stotts is trying here, heading down towards the middle sector and in towards the Whiteford right-hander once again. But very interesting that it is Avesta Gobadi currently on pole position. Legend has to put in a monster run, because usually we'd expect that, Avesta has to outscore Legends. Matthew Stotts, my goodness me, what is he doing? Heading down towards the chicane, the Haas all over the road. But very intriguing lines from Matthew Stotts. But usually with Legend and Avesta, we'd be saying, Avesta has to outscore Legend by so-and-so. But they're tied on points in the championship with only round 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 to go. So only 5 more races, including this one. We are at exactly the halfway point in the season. And Avesta Gobadi, if he could outscore Legend here tonight, might give himself a great bit of confidence heading into the final couple of races. Sam Williams is out on a lap now. Well, he's on an out lap now, getting ready to go on a lap. Only Alpine here in attendance tonight. No Tyler Davison, no Conor Rochford, their usual star-studded lineup. So they're going to miss out on big points in the Constructors' Championship. That gives Ferrari a great footing in that Constructors' Championship, especially the fact they have both Legend and Sam Fade currently in the point-scoring places, at least if the results stay the same as qualifying. Mercedes third in the Constructors, Red Bull in 4th, Aston Martin in 5th, Sauber in 6th, but very close to the 2 in front of them, so Dylan McClemens is doing them a job well done tonight so far. McLaren then down in 7th, then it's the RB team in 8th, Haas in 9th, and then Williams down in 10th. So Williams with Tim and Adrian here, both in attendance tonight. Big opportunity for a very steady points haul for Williams. They'll be looking to capitalise on that. But Legend is out on track for his final qualifying run. Julius Gassner just getting ready on one, as is Sam Williams. But Sam Williams is going to be affected by a lot of traffic here on the lap as we ride on board with the Alpine. Seems like the traffic just a little bit up the road for Sam Williams, and he's going to be okay. Won't be affected too much, as it is Candogar in the Mercedes that is in front, and then I do believe it's one of the Williams. It will be Adrian Tishy that's just in front of Candogar. But Legend Rosenberg, does Legend have a Vesta following him behind? Oh no, he doesn't. That's actually Julius Gassner on a lap, who just flicks around the outside of Legend Rosenberg. What's the sector splits looking like for Julius? Improving by 3/10, so that would actually get him a spot over Adrian Tishy as it stands currently, and that's kind of a crucial qualifying battle because if one DNF occurs, then they're all in for potentially a battle in the points as Sam Williams heads through the traffic. Let's see what Gassner can do then. Currently suffering with a bit of knee pain, it seems, but he's soldiering on anyways as the Red Bull driver. Across the line, it's going to be 10th for Julius, so that's a good qualifying spot actually for Julius if he was able to stay there. But Sam Williams has other words about that. Is he able to jump ahead of the Red Bull? Oh, he isn't. Doesn't improve by enough. Adrian Tishy's wide of the first corner, invalid for Adrian. His qualifying is done, but let's see what Legend Rosenberg can do. It's a situation that is unfamiliar to someone so mighty, and Legend is never usually the man trying to chase 0.4 of a second here in an FVR qualifying. It's usually everyone trying to chase him in towards Whiteford. We'll get the first sector split now. He's improving, but it's not really by enough. And now, look at the maximum commitment, and the commitment's too much from Rosenberg. He won't be able to take a 40th career pole. It's invalid here in session. Avestigo definitely has the cards in his hand, but he's invalidated it as well. So it has the door opened, potentially for someone else, maybe for a first-time pole sitter in the form of Dylan McClements. He is improving in towards the first sector, more than Rosenberg was anyways. What about Luke Davies or maybe even Matthew Stotts? We'll see Stotts in towards the second sector. No, down on his time. Callum Birch finding a bit of time in the first sector. Keep an eye on Luke Davies as well, but Dylan McClements is ahead of both of the McLarens. Legend, of course, in Monaco took his 39th career pole position, but it will be Avestigo taking pole tonight, unless someone else somewhere can say something about that. And Dylan McClements in towards the final corner. Does he have enough? It would have to be something that has been casted upon in some form of miracle for Dylan McClements to take pole here. I think especially with that slide as there's a car round at the final corner. Multiple cars round at the final corner, it seems. McClements up and across the line. There won't be an improvement for him. That was Stotts who's pulled off. What about Callum Birch and Luke Davies? Here's Davies towards the line. Can he get a handful of spots? He will over Birch, but will Birch be able to take it off the McLaren? Big improvements there for Callum Birch, and he does. He beats Matthew Stotts as well, does Callum Birch. So it's the second row of the grid for him. That's an excellent job from Callum Birch. Sam Fate was wide at the final corner. Tim Denhire won't be improving either. Yafan Panguru has found 7/10 on this lap so far. 7/8. So we'll keep an eye on the Sauber here. Is he able to jump in front of Julius Gassner? Maybe that would be crucial if he could take 10th in qualifying. He's going to go one better. Takes 9th. Great qualifying for Yafan Panguru in the battle for the fringe of the points. He goes to 9th position. And it will be Avestigo on pole, Legend Rosenberg in second, Dylan McClements in third, Callum Birch in fourth, Matthew Stotts in fifth with Luke Davies in sixth spot. Then it will be Sam Faith in seventh, Tim Denhire in eighth, heading Yafan Panguru, Callum Dogger, Julius Gassner, Sam Williams and Adrian Tishy. Folks, we will be back after a very short commercial break. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Welcome back, folks, to Albert Park, Australia, here for the Season 13 Australian Grand Prix. And what a qualifying it was, but pole not always the deciding factor here. Qualifying is very important. The lowest grid slot Grand Prix at Albert Park has ever been won from is 11th. and that was David Coulthard in 2003. But can Avestigobadi get the run in towards the first corner and stay ahead of his championship challenger? As we go racing here in Australia, Matthew Stott stalls on the grid, and there's a bit of a front wing damage there elsewhere. Great start from Rosenberg, great start from Dylan McClements as well, looking to hang it around the outside, a legend. And Avestigobadi is into the lead of the race, or stays in the lead of the race, I should say. McClements under pressure as the virtual safety car comes out. So the virtual safety car out here, Adrian Tishy is round, and I believe missing a couple of end plates. We saw Matthew Stotts stall on the grid, or certainly not get away, as it seems like Matthew Stotts has been disqualified. So Matthew is out of this one. That's very unfortunate. There's some form of issue there for him. Great start for Can Dolger. The Turkishman is up 4 positions. Tim Den Heyer up 1. Sam Williams is up 2. And then Adrian, of course, up 1. Because of that disqualification to Matthew Stotts. That's one of the front runners gone then very early on here in this one. The only man not on the Pirelli medium compounded tyres, that's Sam Williams, who's opted for a set of the Pirelli hard compound. So very disappointing for Matthew Stotts, who is out of the race. As it seems like he just wasn't, his car just wasn't able to move, just had some sort of issue, which is just so unfortunate to be out for something like that. Not necessarily a fault of his own, just a fault of the poor piece of software that this game can be, unfortunately, sometimes, and it's a bad glitch that sees Matthew Stotts out of this one. But I do believe we're going to be ready to go racing once again very soon, and this has definitely assisted Avestigobadi, as there's plenty into the pit lane, 4 to be exact, with damage from that. I saw the Sauber front wing go flying, so that was Yafin Panguru. Dylan McClements obviously in front of Stotts, or alongside him on the grid. But McClements got a good getaway and was challenging Rosenberg into the first corner, but the outside line just wasn't necessarily the preferred one there for Dylan McClements. Rosenberg was able to stay ahead. We're still under the virtual safety, or we're under the full safety car now. So that's a brilliant job by the graphics, because that is not a virtual safety. That's definitely an actual safety car that is out on track in front of Legend Rosenberg. In front of Avestigobadi, apologies. Legend actually not leading this one, funnily enough, as much as we've come accustomed to it. But that is the full safety car out now, so that's why all those drivers took the opportunity to get those front wings changed. And the full course safety car is out here in Albert Park. And in terms of this one, and this doesn't really affect the strategy because of the tyres that they've all started on. They've all started on the mediums or the hards, so they want to go a little bit longer than the second lap on them, especially the hard tyre. You want to be doing most of the race on that. The drivers will try to avoid the soft tyres unless maybe we get a safety car late in the race. That affects that one. But it is a good start for the top 3 at least, and their strategies have remained intact. Of course, Matthew Stotts, the victim of bad luck on this occasion, but bad luck has plagued a few drivers here in Albert Park, especially on the current grid. Legend Rosenberg, all those years ago, making his debut here in Season 4. It ended after he completely missed his braking into the very right-hander they're coming through now, and punted Glennon in the Williams off at this corner. Avestigobadi didn't survive to this point in Season 2 for the Scuderia Ferrari car. He went airborne on the exit of turn number 9, turn number 10 now. Of course, back when that wasn't as high speed, you had to get the traction out of that. He spun and then went airborne. Luke Davies had a poor time in Season 11 when Leroy Van Schendel clipped him at the first corner and sent him down the grid. And then as an organisation, we didn't have a great time last season either. The live stream unfortunately went kaput after 7 laps. Tyler Davison, of course, who's not here tonight, still did have bad luck. So We can add Matthew Stotts' name onto that list, as he was not able to get going here in Australia. Avesta will become the safety car then, as a Bernd Mailander, the FIA safety car driver, will be heading into the pit lane, although Avesta is 2.9 seconds up the road. In all honesty, I'm not sure why. This could be Avesta's internet once again, as Legend seems to think that he is controlling the pace here or something. This is very peculiar. Usually they'd all be snaking around here, unless Legend is just not aware that Avesta is in front of him, or if Avesta is just going to glitch back at some point. But this is very peculiar, as rounding the final corner comes Avesta, and we go racing here in Australia. Legend seems to think that he's controlling the pace, but Avesta is 3.7 seconds up the road on the safety car restart, and now we go racing here in Australia, and Avesta just getting up to speed now. We're still under yellow flags as there's a spin for Julius Kastner on the exit of the first corner, and that's very unfortunate for Julius. He has a spin round, and Adrian Tisci, I think, just about avoiding damage. As it looks like Avesta, does Avesta still think he's under safety car or something? I'm really not sure, but he's not at full racing speed, and Legend punts him out of the way, and into the wall goes Avesta. This is really weird. This is really peculiar. Avesta not up to full speed at all here. Legend is now into the lead of the race. Dylan McClements in second, Callum Birch in third. We'll have to get a report on what is actually going on here, because definitely something has gone wrong for Avesta's car. And it is Rosenberg who's leading, ahead of McClements in second, Birch in third, and Luke Davies in fourth. But Legend diving down the inside of Avesta, who it seemed like his car seemed to be still going at safety car speed. That is why he was punted out of the way, and unless that was just a visual error for us, I'm not overly sure, as it did seem like on Luke Davies' screen that Avesta was still in the queue, but he's down to 11th spot, and Avesta is still under safety car speed for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure, but that could be his championship down the drain potentially. The yellow flag still popping up all over the place. An absolute disaster this game is, unfortunately, but these drivers just have to grin and bear it for the most part. But Avesta will be furious at this, and potentially rightly so. I don't really know what's happening, so I couldn't tell you, but Avesta is done in this one, unless there's another safety car that comes out and it sort of fixes itself. Luke Davies has managed to get past his teammate Callum Birch, and Birch is down to fourth, Davies in third. The yellow flags just keep popping up, and I'm not entirely sure what the actual issue is, but it seems to be some problem. Sam Fate is able to get past Yafin Panguru. Panguru going a bit slowly there off the corner, so potentially a problem. Cam Duggar side by side with Callum Birch. Birch has gone off. That's what's happened to Callum Birch. That's a mistake under his own accord. Can't blame the technology for that one. And Yafin Panguru, brave, just sneaks through, heading for the final corner. Turn number 14. Legend sets the fastest lap of the race. Dylan McClements keeping with Legend Rosenberg here, as is Luke Davies. The DRS significantly helping McClements. But this is a very nice job so far from the not debutants, but only second race here for Dylan McClements. As Sam Williams is out, that's a crash through the first corner, and now the virtual safety cars come out again. So virtual safety car is actually out, or could well be the full safety car, but that is Sam Williams out at the first corner. So no full safety car this time. Seems like we're still going to remain at virtual safety car speed, as the full safety car not quite out just yet, still under the virtual. As it is Rosenberg leading, ahead of McClements in second and Davies in third. As Legend, or what is actually happening to Avesta? It did seem like that he was just staying under the safety car speed. As now we go racing once again, and Tim Den Hire opportunistic, trying the move on Can Dulger. Seems like now we're under the green flag running, as Birch has run wide. By the green flag running, I mean not the constant yellows popping up all the time, so that has kind of fixed itself. Is Avesta Gobadi at full racing speed? Avesta's now back up. What in the world? Avesta's now second here in this one, and has just been pushed wide by Dylan McClements. I think Avesta could be having some internet issues, is my verdict of this one. He's now just been pushed into the wall. And McClements now looking for the run on Legend Rosenberg here. So Rosenberg has had a problem through the chicane. Is Dylan McClements able to dive down the inside? No, not quite, but still right on the back of Legend Rosenberg. This is sort of a freakish race here in Australia so far, as Dylan McClements, as Avesta. What is going on? I don't know who is actually in the lead of this race, as Avesta Gobadi is back in the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. This is very peculiar. This is I don't even know if I can blame Codemasters for this one. This could just be Avesta's internet. But Gobadi, Rosenberg and McClements and Davies, 4 within a second here. 4 within 8/10 of a second. Whether it's legitimate or not, we don't know. But it is still thoroughly entertaining. Rosenberg to the outside of Avesta Gobadi now. In towards the right-hander. Legend is into the race lead. Davies, is he able to go around Dylan McClements? He is. Luke Davies is up to third. Now they seem to be all okay. And now we seem to be racing after a very weird opening 8 laps. All normality seems to return. McClements down the inside, not able to make the move on Luke. But that was a very opportunistic by Dylan McClements, which is great to see in the 3 wide behind. Can Dulger, Tim Den Hire, Sam Fate. 3 wide into the apex, and there's a bit of a wobble from Tim Den Hire. Sam Fate, the Welshman, had to avoid as they cross the start-finish line. It's saying Avesta's now within a delta time of Legend Rosenberg, so he's a 10th of a second behind Legend. And this does genuinely seem to be Avesta's position, so we can only apologise for whatever happened earlier, but in reality here behind the scenes at FVR, we had no idea either. That was it was very weird, but seems like Avesta is okay, and his championship challenge is still carrying on, and he is still in position to win this race, or at least get a podium from it. But it is Legend who's leading. Gobadi second, Luke Davies third, Dylan McClements in fourth, and this is a very similar race to what we saw in season 11 between McWilliam, Rosenberg, Davison, Davies, Gobadi, the top 5 all going at it as well on that occasion. Very DRS training is this Albert Park circuit, and what we mean by that is the 3 behind all get DRS and are able to keep nip and tuck with the driver in front, so you can never really pull away even if you do get into the lead of this one, especially when it seems fairly even on pace. It's the yellow flag, that is. Oh, it's Dylan McClements. Oh, that's thoroughly disappointing for a man who was having such a brilliant race. And Dylan McClements has slid down the order, and just as we said the top 4 were running nip and tuck, it's only a top 3 now, unfortunately. De Sauber having a spin on the exit of the Ascari corner, the right-hander in towards the Stewart corner. De Sauber still in 5th, but now behind Sam Faith. It seems like Callum Birch looking to try and cut through the field and get past Tim Den Hire. Swap for the lead, though. Gobadi up and ahead of Rosenberg once again here, so in the 10th lap at 29, it's wide from Avesta Gobadi. This might allow Legend Rosenberg to re-overtake in towards Whiteford. The right-hander, no, not able to get alongside. Avesta Gobadi stays in front. Luke Davies down to 3rd. Or sorry, Luke Davies still in 3rd, but just looking to poach. Looking to just goal hang maybe for an opportunity. As here he goes, Legend Rosenberg in the race lead. Luke Davies looking to try and capitalise as well. Can't do it. Rosenberg still out in front. Avesta in second now, but burning the battery. Looking to go for the move in towards the right-hander. Davies looking to dive down the inside as well. The McLaren looking to make the move. Hops over the curb, still side by side. In towards Stewart. No, not able to make the move. Callum Birch's teammate has gone off, heading through turn number 10. So when one McLaren was going to make the move and Tim Denhires out, oh, Luke Davies has just snuck into the pit lane. Tim Denhire is out and into the wall. That's a really weird place to crash. So I think Tim Denhire might have had an external issue there. But Luke Davies has just got in. Are these going to catch the safety car? Will the safety car let them through? This is very crucial. It isn't. They've picked up the safety car. What an opportunity for Luke Davies. He's got to be very careful. If he cut the yellow line, he might pick up a penalty for it if reported. But Luke has pulled a masterclass here in diving into the pit lane. Very reactionary. And he's now in the provisional race lead. My goodness, is that a fantastic opportunity for Luke Davies. And a well-timed safety car for him. I imagine Legend and Avesta will both be pitting this lap as well. But that will put them behind the McLaren. It could put them behind Dylan McClements as well. So I know Dylan had that spin earlier. But the Northern Irish driver is definitely still within contention for this race win. Because it's got to bunch up the pack once again. It's our second safety car. Third, theoretically, because of course we had the VSC. That caused all the trouble. But third theoretical safety car, second physical safety car. And Luke Davies is now right behind Avesta and Legend Rosenberg. Chuckling to himself, I can only imagine. What does Legend and Avesta do here, though? Because if they pull into the pit lane, they are near enough down the back of the grid. And they stay out. So Legend and Avesta not pitting. They would have ended up behind Luke Davies anyways. They would have ended up probably last. Probably 9th and 10th at least. We've lost 3 drivers in this one. Tim Denhire, Sam Williams and Matthew Stotts. So if you finish the race now, you score points. Tim Denhire simply just saying no words. So he is not happy with whatever happened. We'll try and find out what happened and get a report on that. But Tim Denhire disappointed in how this race has gone. It seems like it's something involving Yaf and Panguru, but further confirmation of that will be provided, I'm sure. As the safety car trickles round, the car is catching up to the grid, or catching up to the safety car train. We will be back after a very quick break.
This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program.
Welcome back, folks, to Albert Park. Safety car not coming in this lap. We are waiting for Yaf and Panguru. And Legend and Avesta, once again, getting a taste of that bad luck that they've both had before. Legend, of course, on debut, involved in an incident. Avesta, of course, in Season 2, involved in an incident. And you can add to the list that they have been the victims of a very untimely safety car. And not able to pit. Oh, Avesta has pit now. So he's obviously sensing that he needs to be into the pit lane. There is more pitting with him, so he's not going to end up last. And Avesta now, even though he race win, is it gone? I wouldn't say it's gone.
But he will be ahead of Legend on the hard tyres once Legend pits, because Legend is not pit under the safety car. So this is tactical warfare from Avesta Gobadi, who could do with his teammate Julius Gassner letting him through here. He's not allowed to do that under the safety car, but certainly Julius could lift off on a safety car restart and allow Legend, or Avesta I should say, to flick around the he has let him through. There is something in the rulebook about that you're not allowed to overtake under the safety car under any circumstances, but we'll say nothing. Julius Gassner doing the team job there is Julius. Yeah, 5.1 on the rules and regulations. Overtaken under the virtual safety car or safety car conditions before the green flag is illegal. And also 5.3, a driver may not let another driver through under a safety car under any circumstances, unless the game tells you to do so. If you want to let a car through, please do it under green flag running. There could be trouble for the Red Bulls. There could be a good bit of trouble there for the Red Bulls. Someone in that Red Bull camp needs to communicate that message to Avesta and Julius, because there could be a spot of bother for Avesta Gobadi if that's reported. If it's reported, it has to be reported, of course. But Luke rewatches the streams, so I imagine he'll do that. If Avesta beats him to the win of this race. Safety car is coming in this lap, so it will be Legend Rosenberg that will lead the restart. But Luke Davies will be right hot on his heels as we go racing here in Albert Park. It's a good restart from Legend Rosenberg. Luke Davies in second, Dylan McClemens back up to third, but remember, Davies and McClemens have made their mandatory pit stop. Legend Rosenberg has not and is on older medium compounded tyres. Keep an eye on Avesta Gobadi as well. He's looking to chase down Adrian Tishy down towards the right-hander, and Adrian Tishy is looking to go for the move on Cam Dulger. This is a brilliant opportunity for the Canadian to pick up some strong points. He doesn't want to do anything too silly, and Gobadi will be able to sweep through on the inside. I can't see Adrian having much of an issue with that one, because he hasn't lost a lot of time there, and also he's let Avesta through as they exit the right-hander. Luke Davies hot on the heels of Legend Rosenberg, and Luke Davies wants to lead this Australian Grand Prix. The McLaren is up and is ahead in towards the chicane. Rosenberg is not having it his own way down under. Luke Davies sweeps past and is ahead. Dylan McClemens might look to get past as well in towards the right-hander. Not overly sure he'll be able to do it on this lap, but he is burning the battery and trying to defend from Sam Fate. Is Davies going to do it? No, he isn't. Fate going for the outside. He's had a lot of faith in Dylan McClemens, pardon the pun, around the outside, but McClemens did leave him just a minimal amount of space. But that was clever from Luke Davies. That was very clever from Luke Davies, because he knew Dylan and Sam Fate would probably try and overtake him, but they've got caught up amongst themselves, and Luke has given himself a little bit of a lead. Lap 15 of 29. We're over halfway through this Australian Grand Prix. Legend Rosenberg still has to come into the pit lane. Gobadi is ahead of Sam Fate. He's not out of this one just yet. He's still with this front train, but remember, Red Bull could be in a spot of bother for that change of positions under the safety car, as that is Julius Gassner, who has gone round. That is an error from Julius, and he has made a mistake. Dylan McClemens now putting Legend Rosenberg under a whole lot of pressure. Here is Dylan. Is he able to make the move in towards the left-hander? Not quite sure he's close enough, but Luke Davies doesn't have the straight line speed because he's no DRS. Legend lifts off. This will allow Dylan to potentially go for the move in towards the Ascari corner, turn number 11, but it could also allow Legend to go for the race lead once again. Remember, Legend at some point has to pull into the pit lane, but for now he's going to try to pull into the race lead. Wasn't able to get it done. Dylan McClemens still right behind in third. Is McClemens able to get past into a very unconventional overtaking spot? He probably wants to do it quickly because Avesta Gobadi is right behind, and it makes you wonder now. Avesta's race or decision here, strategical decision, is way better than whatever Legend's was, because he's right behind Legend now and already has that pit stop served. Legend still has to do it. We'll go for a set of softs towards the end of the race, I reckon. Certainly not a set of hards if he's still out on track now, but those 15 lap all mediums will be hurting here in this stage of the race. Legend doesn't go for the move. That forces McClements and Gobadi offline, as they have to avoid the 4-time world champion on the inside of the corner. Luke just controlling this one to the front, like he likes to do now. The modern era Luke Davies certainly prefers to win in conventional ways, rather than how he won in Imola and in the Circuit of the Americas all the way back in Season 6, which seems such a long time ago now, certainly in the career path of Luke Davies. Here comes Rosenberg though. That slipstream, DRS, ERS, all beneficial, but he's not able to make the move stick, or certainly lifts off and wants to stay behind. It's a 5-car snake sweeping through the land down under, and it is Davies, Rosenberg, McClements. Here's Dylan McClements diving down the inside of Legend Rosenberg, and it's the Sauber able to get the move stick. They wheel bang in towards turn number 11, but Dylan McClements is ahead of Legend Rosenberg. Rosenberg's forced off the circuit. That allows Sam Fate to get a run on Gobadi. One Ferrari's woes, another Ferrari's opportunities, but Sam Fate wasn't able to get past. Avesta Gobadi is going to sweep past Legend Rosenberg, and Legend still has not pulled into the pit lane and could end way down the order here in this one, because the top 6 are all together out on track, and it's wide from Rosenberg. Rosenberg is struggling here in Australia. He's having a race like he's never had before, and his teammate Sam Fate is able to sweep through. This is a big problem for the Dutchman, who is not having a great race here at Albert Park. If he finishes it, he'll score points, but he would have wanted to win, and Penguru is out. Doesn't bring out a safety car, but it's a 3-second time penalty for Luke Davies. Oh my goodness me. Is that a turn in the books? Now the best chance for this one is Dylan McClements and the Sauber. Avesta could pick up 5 seconds after the race for the safety car swap. Sam Fate is still within this one, but is out of that DRS. Dylan McClements is in a great position. Gobadi dives down the inside. One Sauber out of the race, the other Sauber down to third, but Dylan is still in a fantastic spot here. Can Dolger has got past Legend. Legend has to pull into the pit lane now, for sure. Yes, in comes Rosenberg, so it'll be a set of softs towards the end of the race, I think. Hards, I think, would be suicidal, as he's got 10 for speeding. It's a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The wheels have fallen off. The Ferrari's Championship Challenge here in Australia. Still in a good spot, regardless of the points he's scoring, but he's down to 8th. He's a 10-second penalty. And my goodness me, is this controversial. This is dramatic, and this is quite excellent here in Australia. Dylan McClements a 10th of a second behind Avesta Gobadi. Avesta, if he was to win it on track, would officially be classed your winner, but there could potentially be an impending stewards investigation after tonight's race. Luke Davies, with that 3-second penalty, we'll have to see if he can get that one removed, of course, but he's jeopardised himself, and that's not what you want to do, especially in the position Luke was in, which is very good indeed. Played a blinder with that safety car. Here comes Avesta Gobadi, trying it around the outside in towards turn number 11. Gobadi in the race lead. Currently championship leader as it stands is Avesta Gobadi, as Legend is 5.1 of Julius Gassner. Now, if Julius got all elbows out here once Legend catches him, that could be thoroughly entertaining. Thoroughly entertaining. But this could have huge championship implications, as the standings coming up on your screen now. Avesta would take the race lead, or the championship lead I should say. No Tyler Davison here tonight, of course. Gobadi 5 points off that lead, currently scoring 22 as it stands. Legend down in 8th spot, currently scoring 4. So it would be a large point sweep for Avesta Gobadi here in this championship, as they're sweeping down towards the right-hander. But left-hander, I should say. Left-hand right-hander. It is Luke Davies that is going to take the race lead once again. This will swap and change a few times, folks. Because of this DRS, that's just how it plays out. So we'll swap and change a few times. It all depends on when you make your moves and when you hold back. We saw Legend holding back a little bit as a bit of a problem there for Avesta Gobadi. You saw what looked like debris fall off one of the cars. That's just a visual glitch, folks. Don't worry about that. All 4 cars here in this race lead battle still have all the carbon fibre components of their Formula 1 machines, as there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. That seems to be Adrian Tisci that's having some sort of problem, as he is straggling around in 9th position. Legend looking to get past Julius Gassner in towards maybe the first corner or turn number 3. Is the Red Bull going to go all elbows out here? I unfortunately think poor Julius doesn't have much of a choice. Legend going to take the fastest lap, I presume. No, didn't actually on that lap, but you'd like to think he would, considering he's on the set of softs, and he'll pick up another point for his troubles if he was able to take the fastest lap in this Grand Prix. But lap 20 at 29 here of a very controversial Australian Grand Prix. It is Davies in first, Gobadi second, McClements third, Faith in fourth. Gobadi going for the race lead now. He'll be in first. But still, the other the other two behind remain the same. Davies and Gobadi swapping, as Legend now has 13 seconds worth of penalties. That would actually put him back behind Gassner, not behind Tisci, but would put him back behind Gassner. Gobadi's ran wide. He's definitely picked up a warning there, so he could pick up a 3-second penalty as well potentially. Davies, of course, could still get that 3-second penalty. Removed as wide for Gobadi, and now they're side by side for the final corner. The McLaren trying to swing it round. Ivesta Gobadi will have the inside for the next corner, but it will matter not, because Davies is up and ahead, and is McClements able to get past Ivesta? No, he isn't. Just stays behind for the time being, but Dylan McClements, what a position he's in here, with that penalty for Luke, with a potential penalty for Ivesta. Dylan McClements just biding his time here, doesn't want to make an irrational move. He's quicker than Sam Faith. Faith will look to pick up the pieces, like the pieces he caused in Monza. That's what gave a very interesting result there. Luke feels he should have won in Monza, so this will be revenge for that if he's able to win in Albert Park. But it's a difficult stretch ahead, a difficult couple of laps for Luke Davies. With that 3-second penalty, of course, McClements pulls out a line a little bit. But nothing major there. Dylan just getting race savvy here in Albert Park, and he knows when to just lift off, when to hold off. Ivesta looked like he was going to go for the move, but just as we were saying, holding off, that's exactly what Ivesta Gobadi does. That 22 of 29 will be going on. Legend currently 7.1 behind Callum Birch, but does have 13 seconds worth of time penalties. Do I think he'll pull 13 seconds on Julius Gassner? Yes. But I don't think he'll be able to catch Callum, get past Callum, and then pull another 13 seconds on him. Because if he was to pull 13 seconds on Callum, he'd be here with this crew now, which just seems a little bit much, even for a man of his calibre. But he could prove us wrong, like he has proved us wrong time and time again. As they're all just holding off a little bit in this battle for the race lead. Nobody making too rash moves. Another saving grace here for Ivesta is he's got much fresher tyres than the rest of the pack. He's on 9-lap old hards, the rest on 11, and Gobadi will now take the race lead here. Be a first Australian Grand Prix win for Ivesta Gobadi if he was able to do so. The record at Albert Park, not like, say, Monaco or like Brazil in the previous two races. It is only 2 wins held by Jack Redmond and Lewis McWilliam. So Ivesta could do it if we do come to Australia again. But here on lap 22 out of 29, there's a lot still to play for. A lot in terms of the championship. And even if Ivesta wasn't to win this race, he'd be giving himself a nice championship lead over Legend Rosenberg. Oh, and just as we say that, it's off and into the wall. Goes to Ivesta Gobadi. Give himself a championship lead? Absolutely not, because he's made a very, very, very costly error in towards Brabham and Jones, and the safety car is now out for Callum Birch, who has made the exact same error, and this race has taken another turn. But crucially, that's actually going to bring Ivesta back to the pack. It'll bring Legend to the pack as well on the softs, but Legend has 13 seconds worth of time penalties. Oh my goodness me, the Australian Grand Prix has taken another twist, and this has been something of a spectacular tale. Wow. Incredible. Now, are they going to pit for softs? Are they going to pit for softs? We'll have to wait and see. Yes, Davies is in. So is McClement. So is Fate. Legend probably has to pit as well, to be honest. It's not going to be a comfortable experience on those softs, especially with 13 seconds of penalties. He may as well. He'll serve that 10 if he does pit. He will serve that 10 in the pit lane, as Sam Faith has gone for the mediums. So has Dylan McClements. They've both gone for the medium tire to the end. Which is very intriguing, as Callum Birch has retired from this one. Oh, is that on pit entry? That could be a crash on pit entry, which is not how Callum Birch expected to end his debut here. We're not going to see that one, which I'm kind of glad on. Adrian Tishy, I think, will be able to get a lap back on himself, which is very nice indeed. But yeah, Legend has served that 10-second penalty, I believe. So now it's only 3 seconds for him, which is the same that Luke Davies has. But Vesta, with that spin, the safety car that came out mere corners later, is able to get back with the pack. This is incredible. This is a fantastic ending to the Australian Grand Prix, which has provided entertainment throughout. But will it be a first win for Dylan McClements, Sam Faith, Can Dulger, or will Avesta and Legend somehow be able to get back in this one? It would be something else if they could. It would be an unbelievable comeback. And this graphic was obviously made in advance to this race, describing luck. Well, we've certainly had a mixed bag of it here in Albert Park. That'll be about 4 times longer here next year. Because what an interesting race we've had from start to finish. The safety cars providing the entertainment, as well as different mistakes from drivers. But it is medium tyres for McClements and Faith softs for the rest of the field. And unfortunately for Dylan and Sam, the soft tyre is the correct choice, not the medium. The soft is the correct choice here. We're only going to have laps 26, 7, 8 and 9 of racing. The soft can easily do that. Of course, they'll get no deg on the medium. There'll be no degradation whatsoever. But yeah, might struggle, especially with Avesta and Legend. Who can make some potential championship winning overtakes between Gobadi and Rosenberg? They're going to need 4 laps of pure magic to win this race, because everybody else still has a fighting chance. And even though there's only 8 drivers on this grid, all 8 of them, bar Adrian Tishy, unfortunately won't get his lap back, are still in contention for this one. Realistically, Adrian could have got his lap back. It is in the protocol to let drivers through, but I don't think Legend is willing to risk this one just yet, as it is saying that there's a Red Bull. Oh yeah, sorry, Adrian's not at the back of the queue. That's why it's saying there's a Red Bull in front of Adrian. He's not actually at the back of the queue. But Luke Davies, big couple of laps for him here. Could be a very strong result post stewarding. He needs to hold off a very feisty young Dylan McClements. Luke was that young driver once going for his first win. It's sort of poetic that he's the man trying to stop Dylan from getting his. Big safety car restart, this one from Luke Davies, as he's rounding through the Prost corner of turn number 13 and in towards turn number 14. Once they reach the exit of this, it'll be foot to the floor for Luke Davies, who allows Dylan McClements to come alongside, and he's not gone just yet. And now you can see, accelerates, foot to the floor as we go racing here in Albert Park for the final time this evening. Good start from Cam Dulger, almost got ahead of Sam Fate in towards the first corner. Sideways! Which Red Bull is that? It's Julius Gassner who went for the move on Legend Rosenberg. Not a Vestigo Bardi, it's Julius Gassner that's gone round. Here's McClements trying the outside on Luke Davies. Not going to be able to hold it round there. Sam Fate still looking to make the move on Dylan McClements, but wasn't able to get past. Legend Rosenberg not keeping with the Vestigo Bardi after that incident with Julius Gassner. It was sort of a reckless move down the inside from Gassner, and it might cause Rosenberg here in the long run a little bit, but he'll be able to catch up. Cam Dulger has Gobadi trying to go around the outside, and that'll be job done from Avesta Gobadi, who the train is going slowly enough in front, and you can see a vicious swipe from Cam Dulger to avoid any form of contact, any form of damage here in the final laps of this race. Oh, Gobadi pushing like he's never pushed before all over the road. Look at the get past Sam Fate as well. This is a really good job from Avesta Gobadi so far. Hooks it round the outside of Sam Fate, side by side with the Ferrari, and he's got to keep at least one car in between himself and Legend Rosenberg here. Rosenberg, you would assume, will be let through by Sam Fate, his teammate, but the Ferrari team, never really a team that's known for their team orders, are they? Says you. But DRS now enabled. The drivers will have it on this next lap, and this is when all the chaos will kick off. Adrian, 10-second penalty. That's unjust, because he's not really avoiding blue flags. He's just quicker than Julius Gassner. So Adrian, I'm sure, will get that one removed come the end of the race. As they come weaving round, it's not the best run for the first sector from Avesta Gobadi, but it's enough to keep Sam Fate behind, and it's enough to keep within touching distance of Dylan McClements in second place. Legend Rosenberg flicks into the right-hander once again. And you would assume that he's going to get past his teammate with all the assistance that he has on board that Ferrari. Sam Fate clicks on the DRS now, as you see Dylan McClements giving Luke Davies a wide berth. McClements going to try stay behind for as long as possible here, but he does got to avoid Avesta Gobadi behind. Rosenberg's ahead of Fate. Top six all still have DRS at play, as Dylan McClements is going to try go for the outside here. He's not going to try stick behind, and Dylan McClements leads the Australian Grand Prix with a handful of laps to go. 2 laps to be exact. We'll be onto the penultimate lap on the next trip round. Only 2 more corners until we reach that stage. McClements, I'd say, hoping that Davies and Gobadi get caught tripping over each other. 2 drivers that have had their scraps in the past, they've had their moments, so it's definitely a possible feat. The McLaren and the Red Bull known for their battles. Fastest lap of the race for young Dylan McClements, 1:17.701. That would be an extra point if he could do so, but McClements goes skating across the curbs, and the car just about staying on the asphalt there after that one. That could have been a disastrous moment for Dylan McClements. The only thing that was a good move to do on lap 27 for Dylan. I wouldn't have done it on lap 28 if I was in his shoes, but it was a good move to do on 27, because if Davies flicks past now, McClements will have the DRS for the final lap. Luke Davies just pushing and trying to keep with the Sauber, the natural pace you can see, excelling in sector number 1, but these Formula 1 cars and their assistants and their tools will allow Davies and Gobadi to claw back in sector 2. Davies going to go around the outside of Dylan McClements in towards the right-hander. Remember, Avesta Gobadi in third really is the problem for these two, because they can't just lift off and stick behind, because Gobadi's going for it, and here comes Avesta Gobadi trying it round the outside on the Sauber. He's actually hit the back of Luke Davies. He's hit the back of the McLaren, and the McLaren and Sauber of McClements and Davies side by side, and there's more contact there. Gobadi tries to sneak it down the inside of McClements. McClements has got to be careful with Avesta here, because you know how irrational Avesta can sometimes get. Adrian Tisci is out. We're on to the last lap of a dramatic Australian Grand Prix here in the city of Melbourne. In towards turn number 1, Dylan McClements right behind Luke Davies, Avesta Gobadi right behind them both. Remember, this battle for the win is between McClements and Gobadi pretty much, because Luke Davies does have that 3-second penalty, and they're going side by side, has allowed Gobadi to stay behind. Gobadi sideways into the corner. He's got his title rival Rosenberg right behind. He's got his title rival Rosenberg alongside in towards the white right-hander of Whiteford. This is crazy. This is bizarre. It's obscene here. We look back from Luke Davies to all the cars weaving their way down Lakeside Drive and into what used to be the Clark chicane.
Gobardi weaving, doing everything to try get past Dylan McClemens. But here is Dylan McClemens trying it round the outside. Legend Rosenberg is side by side as well. Rosenberg's gone round the outside of both of them. Rosenberg has gone round the outside of Davies and Gobardi. This is incredible. McClemens leads into the right-hander. Rosenberg is up to second. There's contact. Davies has gone round. Gobardi and Faith have hit each other. It's a disastrous last lap for Luke Davies. But Dylan McClemens rounding the corner just like Jack Redmond did here back in season 3. Dylan McClemens is an FVR winner. He wins the Australian Grand Prix in survival of the fittest. Dylan McClemens comes home first. Can Dulger in second. Legend Rosenberg in third. Avesta Gobardi in fourth. Gobardi is going to be furious. What a chance he's thrown away to outscore Rosenberg. But what an ending. Wow, what an Australian Grand Prix. That is mental. Crazy. And it is the young man from Northern Ireland, Dylan McClemens, who wins here in Albert Park. Here is your full race results then. It is a maximum points haul for Dylan McClemens. Can Dulger comes home in second. Legend Rosenberg in third. Avesta in fourth. Sam Faith in fifth. Luke Davies sixth. Julius Gassner seventh. Then it is Adrian Tishy, Callum Birch, Yafin Penguru, Tim Denhire, Sam Williams and Matthew Stotts. That is crazy. And I hope you enjoyed that one at home. We will have to try and hear from some of these drivers after that, because that is crazy. That really is crazy. We will try hear from some of the drivers after that one. But next week, of course, we will head stateside and we will head to Miami. And if it's half as chaotic as that, I think we're in for a good race, because that was bizarre. Let's hear from Dylan and Legend now. As it seems like problems with Dylan, but we will try and hear from Legend now, who, Legend, you are just on... Oh no, Legend is here now. Legend, I didn't think I'd be talking to you here on the podium. It's not a win for you, but are you happy to just get something out of that race?
Yeah, I didn't expect myself to be the podium. I was pretty frustrated those last laps, but when the safety car came out, it was actually in my advantage. So yeah, I'm happy to stand there. And the last lap was crazy. I need to rewatch it and rethink what happened, everything. But the only thing I know that I ended up on the podium, and I'm happy with it.
In terms of the championship, it was looking like Avesta was going to outscore you by a huge amount of points. But even with the 13-second penalty, disastrous safety car look, you've still managed to outscore him. So, is it a happy result for you?
Yeah, of course. Championship-wise, it's a happy result. Obviously, I would much rather win, but yeah, I'm happy.
And in terms of next week, Miami, how's that one looking for you?
Miami, I didn't really do much Miami, but I think I'm just as confident as any other track to battle for the win or for the podium. But yeah, the season is short. I think still 4 races to go, so anything can still happen in the championship. But yeah, I'm just trying to be as consistent as possible as I can. Obviously, today it didn't really look like I was consistent and stuff, but still on the podium, so good points.
Legend, thank you very much, and hopefully we do get to talk to you after Miami.
Okay, thank you very much.
Le- Oh, seems like we're having a problem bringing in Dylan. So we're going to bring in Khan now for the second place driver, who has also left. So it seems like we have them all joining on PlayStation. Seems to have a bit of a problem with the Discord. Let's try bring in Dylan now. Okay, this isn't working. This is we keep bringing them in, and they do keep joining on PlayStation, and it boots them out of the commentary box for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but hopefully we can hear from Dylan and from Can, their first ever post race interview, because Can keeps picking up podiums after the stewards report. That is the problem there. Let's try bringing in Can Duggar now then. Hello, Can. Can you hear me? You are on mute in case you didn't realise.
I think I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Can, congratulations. It's finally a podium with a post-race interview, and it's your first non-third place. How does that one feel?
Exactly. It's finally. It took a while, but it's not a P3 and it's on track. So I'm very happy with that. It feels great.
In terms of that race today, just talk us through those last few laps, because it was chaos watching from outside the car. I can't imagine what it was like from inside.
It was no different, but I think I once again did what I do the best. Maybe I was not the fastest on track, but I just knew there was going to be chaos because you know how it works with the softs after a safety car in the last few laps. So I just tried to stay on track and stay away from chaos and just kept it consistent, and it worked perfectly.
In terms of the rest of the season, is that kind of going to be your tactics to maybe pick up another few good results? Let everyone else sort of run themselves off the road, and then you just sneak through for a couple of good points.
For sure, it's always been like that because you know I think it's a big part of racing. You have to drive not only fast, but you also have to drive clever. Otherwise, if you just push too hard and if you find yourself in chaos, then all of that work means nothing. So it's better to keep it consistent and be on the right place on the right time.
Can, thank you for joining us for an interview. Or sorry, we should say apologies for actually having an interview available to you this time. But congratulations on the second place. It's great to have you back on the podium.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Let's bring in Dylan now and see, can we hear from the race winner? Hello, Dylan, can you hear me? Hello, Dylan.
Hello.
Congratulations, you are a race winner here in FVR. Just talk us through that chaos, because it was an absolute mental sort of scenes out there on the track.
I mean, at the very end, you know, after the, I think, second safety car, I just sat behind trying to, you know, see if there was a gap to go anywhere between them two up the top. But I stayed behind, keeping my ARS clean and hoping on the last lap I can dump all that. And it did work, and I won.
In terms of, I know you have a lot of other experience racing sort of GT cars and other stuff like that, but was that one of the most chaotic races you've ever done?
Probably, you know, Yeah, the tires were dropping off like mad. I think I got tire pressures wrong or something. I'm not that great setup wise. My rears were just laying up ever as you seen, so I spun very early on. But the safety cars helped me. Chaotic race, but I made it to my advantage.
And then in terms of more F1 races, are you just going to try and win everything you can? Win all the rest of the races that you can race in? Or is there a more tame approach?
Yeah, probably try win the rest, but it's gonna be difficult because I got quite lucky there at the end. It was a bit strategic. I dumped all my ARS, even though I had DRS the next straight. So hoping to win the rest of the races, but I need to get some practice and setups done.
Well, Dylan, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on the win. It was truly a fantastic performance.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Well, folks, that is all we do have time for here in Formula Virtual. All we have time for. Wasn't that just purely obscene? I hope you can join us next time out in Miami, because this season just keeps getting better. What a fantastic, fantastic performance from Dylan McClemens, from Can Dulger, and from the rest of the FVR grid. But a big thank you for joining us here tonight, folks. We do hope can see you next week. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye bye.
Maybe it's my own fault. Maybe I led you to believe my highlights started on the podium and not in practice.
The legend Rosenberg is a 4-time champion of the world.
Maybe I made you think that every race I did, I won.
2 litres in the tank for legend Rosenberg, rounding through the final corner. Does the greatest to ever do it, but if he doesn't, Scott and David steals it at the yard of bricks.
Maybe it's my fault that you think I'm unbeatable. Maybe I led you to believe that championships were given to me and not something I worked for every single day. Maybe I destroyed the league, or maybe you're just making excuses. Maybe you can beat me. Come and try. Maybe it's my own fault.